In this speaking practice test, you will be able to demonstrate your ability to speak about a variety of topics. You will answer 6 questions by speaking into a microphone. Answer each of the questions as completely as possible. In questions 1 and 2, you will speak about familiar topics. Your response will be scored on your ability to speak clearly and coherently about the topics. In questions 3 and 4, you will first read a short text. The text will go away, and you will then listen to a talk on the same topic. You will then be asked a question about what you have read and heard. You will need to combine appropriate information from the text and the talk to provide a complete answer to the question. Your response will be scored on your ability to speak clearly and coherently, and on your ability to accurately convey information about what you have read and heard. In questions 5 and 6, you will listen to part of a conversation or a lecture. You will then be asked a question about what you have heard. Your response will be scored on your ability to speak clearly and coherently, and on your ability to accurately convey information about what you heard. In questions 3 through 6, you may take notes while you read and while you listen to the conversations and lectures. You may use your notes to help prepare your response. Listen carefully to the directions for each question. The directions will not be written on the screen. For each question, you will be given a short time to prepare your response, 15 to 30 seconds depending on the question. A clock will show how much preparation time is remaining. When the preparation time is up, you will be told to begin your response. A clock will show how much response time is remaining. A message will appear on the screen when the response time has ended. In this practice test, you can click on Stop Recording to stop the recording of your response. You can also click on Playback Response to hear your recording. Once you have heard your response, you will have the opportunity to record your response again or confirm that you want to keep your response. In questions 3 through 6, you can click on Replay Talk if you want to listen to the conversations or lectures again. During this practice test, you may click the pause icon at any time. This will stop the test until you decide to continue. You may continue the test in a few minutes or at any time during the period that your test is activated. Please note that the Stop Recording, Playback Response, Replay Talk, and Pause icons are available only for this practice test. They will not be available during the actual test. If you do not use these functions, your experience will be closer to the actual Toefl test experience. Performance on the speaking practice test is not necessarily a predictor of how you might perform during an actual Toefl administration. Click on Continue to go on. Number 1. In this question, you will be asked to talk about a familiar topic. After you hear the question, you will have 15 seconds to prepare your response and 45 seconds to speak.
Please prepare your answer after the beep. Please begin speaking after the beep.
Number 2. In this question, you will be asked to give your opinion about a familiar topic. After you hear the question, you will have 15 seconds to prepare your response and 45 seconds to speak.
Now listen to two students discussing the letter.
Hey, what do you think about this idea?
Well, it sounds great, but I don't actually think it would work very well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, I get what he's saying, but I don't think he's thought about the problems with that kind of thing.
No?
No, I'm worried about the books. It'd be really easy to spill something on them accidentally, and then they could get ruined. And some of them are really expensive.
Yeah, even if people tried to be careful, that would probably happen sometimes.
Exactly. And the other thing is, we already have the convenience store in the Student Center, which sells that same kind of stuff.
That's true.
And the Student Center is actually much closer to the academic buildings where classes are held. The bookstore's all the way on the other side of campus. It's not close to the buildings where students are taking classes. So I don't think students would really go there between classes the way he says.
Please prepare your answer after the beep. Please begin speaking after the beep.
Number 3. In this question, you will read a short passage about a campus situation and then listen to a talk on the same topic. You will then answer a question using information from both the reading passage and the talk. After the question, you will have 30 seconds to prepare your response and 60 seconds to speak.
Now, listen to part of a lecture in a biology class.
Okay, so, for example, there are these two different types of ants in Africa that share space in this way, living inside a hollow tree branch. And one of these types of ants is very small, and the other type is much bigger, so they're different. And what's interesting is that the bigger ants collect food and bring it back to the hollow tree branch and eat it there. But some of the pieces of food end up scattered around, small bits of waste that the bigger ants don't eat. And the tiny ants go around and eat these leftover scraps of food. So the tiny ants get their food this way, from the scraps left behind by the bigger ants, and they don't have to go out to collect their own food. Scientists think that this arrangement works out nicely for the bigger ants, too. See, when the small ants eat up all the little crumbs and scraps left behind, they're actually helping to keep the home inside the tree branch clean. And keeping the inside clean like this prevents harmful bacteria from growing. Bacteria which could cause sickness and threaten the survival of the bigger ants.
Please prepare your answer after the beep. Please begin speaking after the beep.
Number 4. In this question, you will read a short passage on an academic subject and then listen to a talk on the same topic. You will then answer a question using information from both the reading passage and the talk. After the question, you will have 30 seconds to prepare your response and 60 seconds to speak.
Listen to part of a lecture in a business class.
So recently, we've been looking at how consumers make decisions about which products to buy. Let's consider how consumers feel when making a big purchase, when a product they're thinking about buying is something expensive. Often people feel that they are taking a chance, spending a lot of money on something when they aren't really sure how good the product is. So, to reduce this feeling of risk, consumers use specific strategies to help them make purchasing decisions. One strategy to reduce the feeling of risk is doing thorough research to find out as much information as possible about a product before buying it. By collecting information from many sources, the consumer gets a sense of whether a product is likely to perform well. For example, imagine that someone wants a new computer, but deciding which computer to buy feels risky because they could end up with a bad computer. So by taking time to read online reviews from experts about different manufacturers and listening to the opinions of many people who have computers, the individual will often feel safer making the decision about which computer is best. Another strategy consumers use to reduce the feeling of risk is staying loyal to one particular brand or company. When consumers have purchased products from a company and have experienced satisfaction with those products, they will trust the company and feel confident buying from it again. For example, Let's say a family buys a new car from a particular company, and the car performs very well and lasts a long time. Well, the next time they go to buy a car, they'll decide to use that same company because they trust that they'll have another positive experience.
Please prepare your answer after the beep. Please prepare your answer after the beep.